Hey guys, how are all of you beautiful people? Hope all of you are doing great. This is the second season of What If Naruto Was Madara's grandson. A medical student died because of negligence of the authorities. Later, he is granted a second chance in life with some boons. But being an Otaku and Naruto fan, he chooses to live in the chaotic world of Naruto. This is the season 2 of this series, and you can find the season 1 in my channel and in the same playlist. So relax and let us complete this wonderful story. Izuna walks out of the mansion as he gazes at the Kiri. No matter which world, you can't escape from politics. People always try to use others for their gain. It is the same in Konoha and it is the same here. Never mind that, I will look around in Kiri for a bit and maybe buy some essentials. He slowly wanders through the streets of Kiri. Most of Kiri's architecture is composed of several cylindrical buildings, and many buildings have vegetation growing on their roofs. Well, they sure are efficiently using their space. The society of Kiri is divided into 3 classes: the higher class, the middle class, and the lower class. Izuna skims through the memories of Anbus. The higher class, also called the noble clans, are the descendants and clansmen of the first Mitsukage who founded the village. They have the most political power in the village and the civilians worship them like gods. Izuna has a conflicted expression on his face as he remembers various kingdoms from his past life. It is similar to the aristocratic system. So, what's the role of daimyo in all of this? Izuna shakes his head as he continues to read the memories. The allied clan of the first Mitsukage constitutes of the middle class. They have fewer privileges in the village. Makes sense. No king will allow his soldiers to gain more power. So, the Terumi clan is one of the allied clan of first Mitsukage, but due to some conflicts, there is friction between them. And as for the lower class, they are the war prisoners or enemy clans which are being monitored by the village. The lower clans are assigned the most difficult of the difficult mission. There is a brutal graduation ceremony for them to graduate from the academy, and the mortality rate of the lower clans is as high as 70–80%. Izuna rubs his forehead as he compiles the information. Well, this is Kiri's way of cutting loose ends. So, which family of noble clans sent this guy to stalk me? Izuna looks at a cloaked figure from the corner of his eyes. This guy started stalking me right after I left the Terumi mansion. Maybe he is the assassin. I won't mind entertaining him, if he wants to dance. Izuna buys some essentials from one of the shops in Kiri. Things are quite expensive here. Well, Konoha is the only village with so many resources as it is located in the center of the Shinobi world. He returns to the small house after completing his purchase. Kimimaro welcomes him with an emotionless face. You should smile more often. Izuna smiles at Kimimaro. Kimimaro opens his diary and scribbles down something. Izuna rubs his head in frustration and enters inside the kitchen. He ties an apron and prepares lunch. I have learned to cook from Mother and Kushina-ni-san. I have often spent my night in the wild while performing Anbu missions. So, cooking helped me a lot. Well, I can only cook meat dishes, at least it is better than nothing. Sniff. Sniff. The fragrance of the aroma of the meat spreads through the entire house. Kimimaro inhales the aroma and salivates. Gulp. On top of the roof of Izuna's house, the assassin gulps his saliva as the fragrance of the delicious meat enters his nose. Damn it. This is torture. I haven't eaten anything from the morning. I have been chasing this guy since morning. And here he is, having a feast. Once I kill him, I will enjoy a feast in my favorite restaurant. The assassin pulls out a special transparent kunai from his pocket as it glistens with sharpness. Later at night, the assassin finally makes his move. It's time to finish him off. I have to perform the assassin without making my noise. I am not called Night Reaper for nothing. The assassin makes some hand signs and calmly clasps his hand. Night release, endless night jutsu. He releases some black mist from his body. The mist fuses with the surrounding as darkness intensifies. The moon slowly fades away from the vision and the house is completely covered in darkness. It's about time to finish it off. The assassin pulls out the glistening kunai from his holster and enters inside the house. Night release, hiding in night jutsu. His figure turns into black particles and fuses with the darkness. The assassin slowly crawls through the house. He spots Izuna and slowly creeps his way to him. A few minutes earlier, Kimimaro is silently sleeping on the bed. Izuna looks at Kimimaro and sighs. This kid has quite an endurance. He has been struggling non-stop for almost the entire day to get used to those heavy gravity weights. At this rate, he will be able to walk normally by next week or so. I will relieve some stress from his body. Izuna closes his eyes and absorbs nature energy. He transfers the nature energy to Kimimaro to rejuvenate him. Kimimaro moans in his sleep as the nature energy slowly rejuvenates his body. The bones in his body absorb the nature energy and turn into a shade of grey before returning to normal. Izuna notices the anomaly. Interesting, his body, or to be more precise, his bones have some affinity with nature energy. I wonder if he will be able to learn Sage Mode. Izuna curiously inspects Kimimaro's bones and shakes his head in frustration. His Keki Genkai is an inherent ability. I can't learn it. Izuna raises his head and feels some vibrations through the roof. He has gained the ability to sense vibration and waves by utilizing shock release. Oh! Looks like Mr. Assassin is about to make his move. I suppose he has found an apt opportunity. Izuna lies down on his bed as he patiently waits for the assassin. I can kill this guy instantly, but then I won't be able to see his abilities. I have to learn some new abilities to further my understanding of Keki-ishi. Yes. Keki-ishi. That's the name Izuna came up with, a nature transformation involving 4 nature elements. Keki-i-mora involves 5 or more nature transformation, whereas Keki-i-tota involves 3 nature transformations. There is a gap between both of them, and Izuna never found any record involving nature transformations. It is considered impossible to combine 4 elements in a unique proportion to create an entirely different transformation. Even the Keki-i-tota dust release is the pinnacle of nature transformation mastered by any human. The first Sashikage Ishikawa started his research on 3 nature transformations during his adulthood and failed to achieve success during his life. His research was then picked by his student Mu, who became the second Sashikage. Mu finally finished the research and created the first ever Keki-i-tota. He then passed the secrets of his research to the grandson of first Sashikage Onaki. Now, I want to go beyond the limit of humanity. It is uncharted territory for me, and I am ready to learn everything. Well, I guess this makes me similar to Orochimaru, who is also after the entire knowledge of Shinobi world. Nah, he is a pedophile, and I am not. Izuna shakes his head and immediately denies it. Night release, endless night jutsu. He hears a feeble whisper. Suddenly, darkness starts to encroach the house and the moon fades away in the darkness. Interesting. Izuna has a smile on his face as he is fascinated by this new technique. I never expected to come across another peculiar nature transformation on my second day of stay in Kirigakyo. I have to do more research on this. Chai. Izuna activates his main Gekyo Sharingan and starts to inspect the darkness covered around his house. This is not darkness release as I expected. But it is quite close. Izuna scrutinizes the darkness as he notices the microscopic black particles covering his house. By utilizing the aspect of genjutsu, yin release and water release, he has created a unique technique. The microscopic water molecules act as a prism, and by using a genjutsu, the user creates an image of night. He then imbues the water molecules with yin release chakra and cuts off any kind of light from the covered space, thus effectively isolating it from surroundings. The result being the unique simulation of absolute night. Izuna curiously breaks down the complexity of the technique as he analyzes it with his main Gekyo Sharingan. This jutsu has a weakness. The chakra cost is quite high, so an average jounin can only cast it once before running out of chakra, and the absolute night won't give the caster any advantages either, unless the person has an ocular power to see through darkness itself. As far as I know, only my main Gekyo Sharingan and perhaps the Rinnegan can see through this absolute night. No, perhaps I can use sound and vibrations to keep track of my surroundings, but it won't be that reliable compared to my main Gekyo Sharingan. Izuna deactivates his main Gekyo Sharingan and focuses his concentration on sounds and vibrations. Now my question is how the assassin will see me. Izuna calmly lies down on the bed with his eyes half open. He notices a black apparition slowly crawling towards him. So, that's the assassin. I wonder how is he able to see me. The assassin takes out the special transparent kunai and peeks through the blade of the kunai. This kunai is made from a special mineral found deep in the veins of the earth. It allows us to locate see in this absolute darkness and locate our target. My Kamishio clan utilizes this special technique passed down through generations to fight in battle. We had a very high aptitude for genjutsu and yin release. Thus we created the night release technique. Kamishio clan was famed for their skillful use of genjutsu. We were feared for our secret assassination techniques, and many other clans and villages hired us. Our fame spread throughout the entire Shinobi world when a few of our members successfully assassinated the first Kazekage, followed by the second Kazekage during the Second Shinobi War. Soon, the entire Shinobi world saw us as a threat, and the hidden villages sent their powerful forces to annihilate our village hidden deep in the land of silence. They annihilated and killed almost the entirety of my clan. Only a handful of people escaped from the village. I was a young teenager at that time. I ran away from the village, starved in hunger for God knows how many days. Finally, a Kifumi-sama found me. He fed me, sheltered me, and to pay my gratitude, I became his hidden blade. A blade that will terrorize his enemies in the wake of night. I became the Night Reaper. Time to die. The assassin raises his kunai and stabs it towards Izuna's heart. No one has ever escaped from the deadly night release of our clan. Even if the silent Shinigami of Konoha appears before me, he will also fall under my blade like the rest of the world. Stab, clank. A shard of ice blocks the kunai and deflects it. The assassin panics for a second before he calms down. I don't believe he can see me in this darkness. We have assassinated many sensor ninjas and even the possessor of many powerful Kekii Genkai using this technique. Unless the user has a powerful defense like the third Raikage or a similar shield, then we are helpless against him. The Night Reaper remembers his failed assassination of third Raikage, where his kunai wasn't able to pierce through the absolute defense. That was the biggest humiliation of my life. As a Kamishio clan member, I failed to complete an assassination. It won't happen again, it must be a fluke. I will try again. Izuna calmly looks at the assassination whose entire body is draped in black clothes and his face is covered with a black mask. Are we playing some sort of Assassin's Creed here? Why does he look like a Brotherhood member? Swish. Swish, swish. The assassin flails his hands around to perform some unusual hand signs. What kind of ritual is he performing? Swish. The special kunai flies towards the assassin and falls into his hand. The assassin infuses some chakra into the blade. Night release, stab of umbrage. Swish. He swiftly moves in Izuna's direction to stab him again. I can see you all right. Clank. Izuna blocks another attack with an ice shard as he remarks to the assassin. Impossible, impossible. How can this be possible? The assassin yells hysterically. No, this can't be true. You are lying. Stab, clank. He tries to stab Izuna again, only to get parried by him. Your technique is quite interesting. I have learned a lot from you. I can even see hope for my new technique. But regretfully, you are my enemy. Izuna sighs and makes some hand signs. Wait, tell me, how can you see me in my night release? The assassin, aware of his imminent death, questions Izuna. That's a secret. Izuna smiles at the assassin and makes some hand signs. Ice release, chilling touch. He grasps the head of the assassin. The assassin's body freezes from head to toe with his eyes wide open. Let me real quick check his memories to learn more about his technique. If not for my main Gekyo Sharingan and shock release, this guy could have done a number on me. Izuna searches through his memories. Kamishio clan, ha. They are various powerful clans hidden throughout the Shinobi world. Chino clan is one such example, and this Kamishio is another. Guess. I can never lower my guard, not even against a small fry. Who knows if they might pull out a surprising ability and land a killing blow on me. Crack. Crack. Various cracks appear on the Night Reaper's body before it shatters into countless ice particles. The special transparent kunai of the assassin remains intact. Izuna picks it up and examines it closely. This kunai is made of chakra. I have never seen such pure chakra anywhere else. And there is a mine of this material hidden in the Land of Silence. Maybe I should make a trip to the Land of Silence in the future. BZZZ. The sin seal on Izuna's hand wakes up. Izuna frowns and looks at the seal. What's the matter with this guy? It has been pretty obedient in the past few years. Is it revolting or something? The sin seal activates, and the grimoire appears in front of him. The grimoire opens its page and forms a mouth. Chomp. It chomps down on the special kunai in Izuna's hand. Crunch, crunch. The sound of munching of kunai echoes in his ears. Give it back. Give the kunai back to me. I needed that for my research. Izuna frantically grabs the grimoire and shakes it violently to make it spit out the kunai. Oi! Stop with your nonsense. It is making me dizzy. The Yin Kurama growls at Izuna. Ha ha. Izuna is still as childish as ever. An apparition of Kushina chuckles. What? Kushina, Ni-san, you can hear me. Izuna points a finger at the apparition. Yes, we can see and hear you, Izuna Minato replies to him. Even you. Minato-san. Izuna looks at the apparition of Kushina and Minato with wide eyes. Oi, don't ignore me. The Yin Kurama growls at Izuna. Shut up, you pesky fox, or I will feed you to this book like that kunai. Izuna scowls at Kurama. Ba. A shiver ran through Yin Kurama's body as it stares at the Sin Grimoire with dread. It quietly lays down and closes his eyes. Izuna turns towards Minato and Kushina and questions him. Since when? Minato and Kushina smile at him. We have looked at you all this time. The moment we were sealed by you in this book. This book started to drain chakra from the yin half of Kurama and used it to heal our damaged souls, and with that last addition of pure chakra from that kunai, our souls were completely healed. Kurama opens one eye and remarks. They fed on my body, or to say chakra. I never had any chakra in this past few years, and this book is still constantly draining all of my chakras as we converse. Kurama closes its eyes again. Ha ha. Minato chuckles at Kurama and introduces him. The real name of the Nine-Tails Fox is Kurama, right? Izuna replies to him. Kurama's eyes widens as it stares at Izuna. Sigh. Yes. I am not even surprised anymore. Minato sighs as he continues. Since our chakra and soul were linked together, we were able to converse and reconcile with him. I don't blame him anymore. Kurama opens his eyes and grins at Minato. Give a hug to big sister Kushina. Kushina rushes towards Izuna and hugs him. You have turned into a big boy in these past few years. I am sure plenty of girls have fallen for you. Kushina chuckles as she teases Izuna. It is not like that. Izuna hurriedly denies her. Ha ha. Kushina laughs at Izuna's reaction. Soon. Kushina Ni-san. I will heal both of you soon. Izuna clenches his fist as he promises to Kushina. You don't have to push yourself. Izuna-kun. Kushina pats his head. Naruto is truly blessed to have a caring big brother like you. Also, I am waiting for the day when I will be able to hug him in my embrace and shower him with all of my love. Yes, that day will come soon. Izuna assures Minato and Kushina. He turns towards the grimoire and questions. What kind of thing are you? How are you able to do almost anything? Chewie. The grimoire spits out the handle of the kunai, which hits Izuna straight into the face. Ha ha. Kurama burst out in laughter. That's what you get for calling her a thing. Izuna turns towards Kurama and tilts his head in confusion. What do you mean by her? Rattle. Rattle. The chains around the Sin Grimoire rattles. Kurama immediately shuts its mouth and starts to behave like a cute dog. Izuna silently stares at Kurama and questions. Where is the dignity of the most powerful tailed beast which you boast of so proudly? Humph. Kurama snorts and replies. I don't give jack shit about dignity. Besides, it won't help me in this situation. Is he influenced by me? I have been using such kind of cusses a lot. Later in the next morning, Izuna gives some instructions to Kimimaro before departing for the Terumi clan. He enters inside the Terumi clan mansion. 3 people are bowing in front of Fuji Terumi. Izuna inspects them and recognizes one of them. Wait. He looks like Utakata. If I remembered correctly, he is the Jinchuki of 6 tails. Izuna inspects Utakata. He secretly activates his Sharingan to gauge Utakata's chakra. He is not a Jinchuki yet. Maybe he will become one in the future. Izuna walks over to Fuji Terumi. Fuji notices him and nods his head. He introduces Izuna to the 3 shinobis beside him. So, the 4th member I mentioned has arrived. Fuji points towards Izuna and introduces him. He is Yuito Yuki, a member of Yuki clan and ice release user. He was the one who saved my. The 3 members scrutinize him for a second. They notice his girly appearance and lose their interest. Izuna tilts his head in confusion at Fuji. Fuji introduces the 3 of them to Izuna. He points at a spectacled middle-aged man. He is Haru Same, one of my trusted comrades from the Second Ninja War. Fuji points at another person with a bamboo hat. He is Zenjutsu, another trusted subordinate of mine. Last but not the least. Fuji points at Utakata and introduces him. He is Utakata, a student of Harasum and a powerful shinobi himself. All of you will be the personal guard of Mai and secretly protect her during every mission while completing the mission. Her safety will be your priority. All of them nod their head and bow in front of Fuji. You all should familiarize yourself to know more about each other's abilities. Fuji dismisses them before returning inside the mansion. Sigh. That girl is so reckless. As a father, I can't help but worry about her future. If only there was no political power struggle, then I would have found a worthy man for her and married her off. I want to see my grandchildren before my death. Cough, cough. Fuji violently coughs for a minute. He wipes the blood from his mouth and enters a room. Elder Genji is patiently waiting for him. Elder Genji raises his head and notices the taint of blood. Your condition is getting worse. I will call one of my medic ninja now. Elder Genji knocks his stick on the floor. Swoosh. An Anbu member immediately flickers in front of him. Summon Hira. Clan leader Fuji needs medical attention. Swoosh. The Anbu member immediately flickers out from the room. Fuji turns to Elder Genji and reports. Elder Fuji, he surely has some skills to survive an assassin attempt from Night Reaper, but I don't think the noble clan will give in that easily. Elder Genji nods his head. Now he is one of our men. We can't allow the noble clans to do as they please. Lady Mai's safety is our priority. Elder Genji looks at Fuji's conditions for a second before he continues. You should slowly train her to handle the responsibilities of the clan and the village. Sigh. Fuji rubs his forehead as he ponders. Izuna scrutinizes the 3 people in front of him while they do also inspect him. I am Yuito Yuki. Izuna smiles at them while secretly inspecting their chakra. Utakata and Harasum have normal amounts of chakra. But this bamboo hat guy has way more chakra than a normal shinobi. Also, what's with that water bottle tied to his belt? The bamboo hat guy removes his hat and reintroduces himself. I am Zenjutsu Hozuki, of the Hozuki clan. Zenjutsu has a tall and slender stature. He has blonde hairs styled into a pompadour. He has no eyebrows, a very thin mustache, and a triangular goatee. Izuna notices the pompadour on Zenjutsu's head and barely holds himself from laughing. He looks hilarious with that pompadour. Is that the reason why he is wearing a bamboo hat? Zenjutsu wears his hat again. But to be from Hozuki clan. He must have some sort of relationship with the second Mitsukage. Out of his curiosity, he questions Zenjutsu. Hozuki clan, one of the most powerful clans of Kirigakyo. Even the second Mitsukage was one of the most powerful shinobi of Kirigakyo. Zenjutsu nods his head as he reminisces. Second Mitsukage Genjutsu Hozuki was my uncle and mentor. He was my idol, and it is my dream to become as powerful as him. Zenjutsu clenches his fists in resolution. So, do you want to become the next Mitsukage? No. I have no interest in Mitsukage's position. I am not qualified enough to become a Mitsukage. Zenjutsu shakes his head and denies it. Izuna turns to the master-disciple pair. Utakata is staring at Harusame's every action like a devotee. This guy is fangirling his sensei. Harusame adjusts his spectacle with his index finger as he closely looks at Izuna's appearance. He then turns towards Utakata and assesses them with his eyes. Shiver. Izuna feels a shiver run down his spine. This pair of master-student seems to have a quite complicated relationship. So, you are an ice release user. It has been a while since I last saw someone with that cursed bloodline. Harusame remarks. Cursed bloodline. Izuna frowns as questions Harusame. What do you mean cursed bloodline? Ha ha. Harusame chuckles before he replies. I don't want to scare you, kid, but there is a rumor spread across the village. Harusame pauses as he looks at Izuna's appearance. The male members of the Yuki clan are born with a womanly appearance because of their ice release Keki Genkai, and none of the male members survives till the age of 30. Yes, 30. No known male member of Yuki clan survived past that age. It was also the part of the reason why Yuki clan is on the verge of extinction. Harusame turns towards Utakata and orders. Utakata. I have a task for you. Yes, sensei. Utakata silently follows Harusame. Zenjutsu pats his head and walks away. See you later, boy. Izuna stares at the back of the bunch and muses. I guess I have some interesting days waiting ahead of me. He turns around the corner of the room to leave the mansion. Bump. He collides with someone and falls on them. Squish, squish. He feels a soft sensation in his hand. This feels good. It's a perfect size, it perfectly fits into my palms. Squish. Mai moans as she stares at Izuna in anger. If you had enough, then would you mind standing up? I am sorry. Izuna immediately leaves his grasp and stands up. You have a perfect size. Izuna compliments her. Shut up, you pervert. Mai blushes and immediately runs away from there. Just now, she eavesdropped on the conversation between Elder Genji and her father. They were talking about her marriage. She bumped into Izuna while running away from the room. Marriage, it's still too soon for me. I have to ease some burdens of the father, then only I could think about marriage. The girly face of Yuito appears in her eyes. No, he is a pervert and also a member of the Yuki clan. I don't about the truth of the Yuki clan's curse, but I don't want to see my loved one die. Also, there is no redeeming feature in him, well, besides his face. Mai shakes her head and enters her room. She takes out a picture of a woman from the closet. The woman has a similar appearance to her. Father is trying his best to keep me happy, but I am already aware of his disease. He is trying very hard to hide it from me. Drip, drip. Tears fell from her eyes as she clutches the photo. I just want the father to live a bit longer. Knock, knock. Mai. Mai. Fuji calls her name. Mai immediately wipes her eyes and cleans her face. Come in. Dad. Fuji enters the room and notices the picture of his wife in Mai's hand. So, you were spending some time with your mother? Mai nods her head. Ha. Sometimes. I also miss her. Her anniversary is coming soon, both of us will pay a visit to her grave together. Sigh. Fuji sighs as he continues. Mai, you need to take some of my responsibilities. Your father is growing old and may die someday. I need you to be capable to handle the matters of the clan and the village on your own. You are fine, Dad, nothing will happen to you. Also, I am ready for the mission. Mai hugs Fuji. Okay, now listen. The Jinchuki of the Six Tails died mysteriously during the Third Great Ninja War. He was a close aide of 3rd Mitsukichi-sama and one member of our faction. Mai nods her head as she listens to the explanation. Now, some of our men have spotted a large influx of chakra gathering at this lake. Fuji marks a location on a map. We believe it to be the revival of the Six Tails. As you know, the greater the number of tails a tailed beast has, the more chakra it possesses. Six Tails has a tremendous amount of chakra compared to the 3 tails, so it took it so long to resurrect. Fuji rolls the map and passes it to Mai. We believe in another month or so, the 6 tails will be fully resurrected. So, we want to capture it and reseal it as soon as possible. I have some qualms regarding the noble clan on this matter. They are already in the possession of 3 tails, and they will try to lay their hands on 6 tails too. I want you to oversee the process of the capture of 6 tails with your team. Fuji explains the entire situation to her and passes a scroll of all of her team members. Yes, Dad. Mai nods her head and flips open the scroll to see the individuals in her team. Yuito Yuki. Mai frowns as she notices the name of her team members. This pervert is also on this mission. Did he earn father's trust? A month passes in the blink of an eye. Izuna will occasionally give some instructions to Kimimaro to improve his physical strength. He would spend the rest of his time completing some missions with Mai and his group of 3 oddballs. He met with Ao in a few missions and Ao was still skeptical of him, for the reasons unknown to both Izuna and Ao. His missions usually included escorting missions, guard missions and dealing with some skirmishes, nothing major which he couldn't handle with his current level of power. Izuna is resting on top of a tree in Terumi compound as he silently ponders. I can see some clues on the development of Keki-ishi. The night release which I learnt from the assassin guy is my key to access it. Combining 2 nature transformations. Keki-i Genkai is currently way beyond my league. Izuna closes his eyes as he remembers his attempt of creating a Keki-ishi. Flashback no jutsu. At the outer edge of Shikotsu Forest. Izuna takes a deep breath and calms his nerves. I have simulated this process several times through Genjutsu while considering all variables. I am all set. Izuna turns to Katsuyu and questions her. Lady Katsuyu, is it all right for me to test my new jutsu here? The power of my jutsu is way beyond anything I have done before. Katsuyu nods her head. It's all right. This place is located on the outer edge of the Shikotsu forest and is barren. No creatures are residing in this part of the forest. It used to be the lair of the forest beast who went on a rampage a few centuries ago. Thanks to the efforts of Kenshio-sama, he was sealed in another space. So, it's fine to use it for your new jutsu training. Izuna nods his head. All right then. Katsuyu retreats to a considerable safe distance from Izuna. Izuna clasps his hand together and enters into sage mode. A cyan color cloak appears him. There is a single tomo on cloak's front and back. Ha! Izuna claps his hands as he focuses magnet release chakra in his left hand and storm release chakra in his right hand. Magnet release is a combination of wind release and earth release, whereas storm release is a combination of lightning release and water release. If I can combine them perfectly, then I will be able to create the electromagnet release, my first Keki-ishi. I can't lose focus here. He slowly infuses the magnet release chakra and the storm release chakra near each other. Now I have to combine them in correct proportion. I can't make any mistakes here. He activates his main Gekyo Sharingan and slowly analyzes the process. The magnet release chakra and the storm release chakra slowly start to meld together. Izuna feels a large amount of resistance in his hands as the two chakra natures start to push each other. I have to hold on. Both chakra natures start to combine as they form a purple orb in his hand. Is this electromagnet release? Izuna inspects the purple orb as he tries to stabilize it. I just have to memorize the right chakra proportion and I will create my first Keki-ishi. He adds a little more chakra to the orb. The orb starts to shake violently. Shit. I messed up at the last step. I can't stabilize it anymore. BZZZT. Lighting and all other elements flicker through the purple orb as it slowly starts to expand. Fuck. I have destroyed the integrity of the elements. Now, it has destabilized into these fundamental elements. Sizzle. The purple orb scorches his hand. His healing factor kicks in, to heal the injuries. The burns heal at a very slow rate. What? These burn marks aren't healing rapidly. Izuna immediately tosses the purple orb to the nearby mountain. Without Izuna's stabilization, the purple orb immediately expands to the size of a large water tank and it continues to expand. Boom! The purple orb expands and collapses violently, creating a vacuum in the area. BZZZZTTT. It releases a powerful EMP blast, which slams into Izuna and knocks him away. Boom! Izuna collides into a nearby mountain and passes out. Woohoo! The vacuum created by the purple orb sucks nearby minerals and metals from the ground inside itself. Various rocks and minerals float around the vacuum. Whoosh! The vacuum loses its energy source and collapses into a single point before fading out of existence. BZZZTTTT. It releases another EMP blast, which knocks the floating rocks and minerals. Wham, wham, wham. The floating rocks crash into the ground, one after another. Boom. Dust and debris rise in the area. Katsuyu's optical tentacles shake in a frenzy as she stares at the devastation caused by Izuna's jutsu with disbelief. This jutsu, is so powerful, even Hashirama-sama's wood release pales in comparison to it. No, even Kenshio-sama's power pales in comparison to this jutsu. What kind of jutsu was it? The dust and debris settle. Katsuyu immediately slithers at Izuna's location. She notices Izuna, who is buried beneath a large boulder. Thwack! She slaps away the giant boulder with her tail and immediately crawls towards Izuna. Boop! She splits a fragment of her body into another Katsuyu. The mini Katsuyu slither over to Izuna and checks his condition. He has lost his consciousness. That earlier blast of energy attacked his nervous system. He will take some time to recover. Slither, Slither. The mini Katsuyu carries him to the deeper parts of the Shikotsu forest. The large Katsuyu looks around the area to estimate the damage caused by Ajuna's jutsu. BZZZ. Deep purple lighting flickers through the large crater created by Ajuna's jutsu. Katsuyu feels dizzy as she walks towards the crater. She turns around and retreats to the forest. Swoosh, swoosh. Many large foxes appear beside her. Greetings, Lady Katsuyu. One of the larger fox bows in front of Katsuyu. Katsuyu nods her head as she instructs them. Barricade this area. It is an inhabitable zone from now on. None of the creatures residing in the forest are allowed to enter this area. There is strange energy fluctuating through the rocks present here. You will lose your mind if you came in contact with that. Yes, Lady Katsuyu. The large fox nods his head and instructs other members of his clan. Kurumi pauses before she walks towards Katsuyu. Lady Katsuyu, about Ajuna-sama, is he all right? Earlier I saw him attempting something near that mountain. Is he the reason behind this incident? You don't have to worry about him. He will be all right. You should focus on erecting a barrier around this place. Katsuyu avoids her question and orders her. Yes. Katsuyu-sama. Kurumi bows her head and retreats with her clan. What kind of power did he use to create such destruction? Katsuyu looks at the remains of the mountain. There is a bottomless pit at the former position of the lair of the forest beast. For now, healing him is my priority. Katsuyu slowly slithers inside the forest. Inside one of the caves near the giant tree of Shikotsu forest. Mini Katsuyu lays Ajuna on a bed as she inspects his condition. Wiggle, wiggle. She shakes her optical tentacles to signal other Katsuyu. Many chibi Katsuyu appears inside the room. Use nature energy to heal his wounds. His condition is quite serious. Yes. The chibi Katsuyu clings on Ajuna's body. Their body starts to glow cyan as they absorb nature energy from the surroundings and transfer it to Ajuna. Swirl. The Sin Seal activates, and it starts to absorb the nature energy at a rapid rate. Many dark markings appear all over Ajuna's body. Swirl. The apparition of Kushina and Minato swirls out of the grimoire. Both of them stare at Ajuna and frown. I have never seen such strange sealing formulas. Kushina comments as she looks at the strange markings on Ajuna's body. It's probably caused by this book. Minato points to the Sin Grimoire. Both of them turn to Kurama to question him. Kurama turns his head away from them and whistles, completely ignoring their presence. This bastard. Kushina's hairs start to rise as she angrily glares at Kurama. Ne. It's all right, Kushina. I am sure Ajuna-kun is fine. Minato tries to calm her down. He is right. He is just in a small coma. He will recover soon and perhaps even grow stronger than before. Kurama raises its head and remarks before closing his eye. Phew. Kushina calms down and heaves a sigh of relief. I hope he is all right. She then turns to Minato and questions him. Minato, do you know what was he trying to do earlier? Minato ponders for a while before he replies. Earlier. I saw him using magnet release and storm release. If my speculation is correct, he was trying to combine them to create a new jutsu. Kushina nods her head in understanding. I have seen the third Kazekage using the magnet release before and the third Reikage using the storm release. I am not sure how Izuna-kun learned them, but whatever he was trying has never been tried before. Minato continues to speculate. Izuna has a Mangekyo Sharingan, and every Mangekyo Sharingan has unique abilities. Maybe, it is the ability of his Mangekyo Sharingan. Kushina points out to Minato. It's quite possible. He must have somehow learned them using his Mangekyo ability. Anyway, when Izuna tried to combine the two Keki Genkais, the elemental forces came into play and repelled his attempt. Free energy always pursues chaos, and it is the reason that his jutsu failed. I don't have any other explanation. Minato shakes his head. Ugh. Izuna slowly opens his eyes as he wakes up. His vision blurs for a while as he opens his eyes. He feels something heavy pressing on his chest. He notices various chibi katsuyu healing his body. He gently removes them one by one. Slither. Slither. The chibi katsuyu slithers around and one of them raises her head and asks him. You are finally awake. Izuna-kun, how are you feeling now? Izuna checks his body and notices the scorch marks on his hands. The scorch marks are healing slowly, even with his regeneration. I am feeling fine, only these scorch marks are a little itchy. Nothing major. Chibi Katsuyu nods her head and shakes her optical tentacles to send a signal to the giant Katsuyu. A moment later, the giant Katsuyu enters inside the cave. She frantically looks at Izuna and her tentacles shakes in frenzy. How are you feeling now? I treated your injuries with the help of Katsuyu, but those scorch marks will take a while to heal completely. Even the Senjutsu enhanced mystic palm technique isn't much effective on them. Tsunade walks inside the cave and angrily stares at Izuna. What kind of new forbidden jutsu were you trying to perform? Katsuyu told me about it. You almost lost your life in that attempt. You bastard. Tsunade grabs his collar and shakes him. Izuna helplessly turns towards Katsuyu for rescue. Katsuyu turns away her head and ignores Izuna's plea for help. Sigh. Izuna sighs and tries to convince Tsunade. Tsunade. I just thought of a new technique which would improve my fighting prowess by a lot, and I was trying to test it. I never expected it to go out of control despite my precise control. Tsunade hugs him tightly as tears flow from her eyes. Why are you so reckless? I have already lost my friend and family and I don't want to lose you too. Sigh. Izuna sighs and calmly holds her shoulders and explains. Tsunade, do you remember the Danza incident during the Uchiha clan massacre? Tsunade nods her head. Yes. I heard about it. I never expected Danza to grow stronger to such an extent, and he even transplanted Uchiha members' eyes and grandpa's cells, that bastard. She clenches her fist in anger. Yes, Tsunade, but do you remember, how strong was Danza? He erected a above-cage-level barrier on his own, and almost brought the entire village on his heels. Tsunade nods her head. Yes, he was very powerful. I was able to sense his chakra while in sage mode, and it was almost at the level of a tailed beast, but how? Tsunade looks at Izuna in confusion. Yes. Tsunade. I investigated into it, and I found the involvement of a very powerful foe. Our enemy is almost as strong as the Sage of Six Paths from legend and I can attest to it. Izuna explains to her with a serious expression. Tsunade's expression turns ugly as she learns about the truth. But, why are you bearing this burden all on your own? You have your family and friend to depend on. Tsunade assures him. Izuna silently stares at her. What? Why are you staring at me like that? Izuna tilts her head in confusion. Remember, when I met you, I said the same words to you. Izuna looks at her with a deadpan expression. Did you? But I can't remember them. Izuna shakes his head. This is the part of the reason. I pushed you to train in Senjutsu. Also, I need to do my part too. Izuna assures her. Sigh. Izuna sighs and checks Izuna's body. Thankfully, Katsuyu summoned me, or else you would be spending a week in coma. What? Izuna yells in surprise and turns to Katsuyu. Lady Katsuyu, how much time I spent in coma? Izuna-kun, today was your second day in coma. I spent an entire day to heal you, but it wasn't enough. So, I reverse summoned Tsunade-sama and informed her. She treated you, and you regained your consciousness. Katsuyu explains to him. Oh shit. I have to return to Kirigakyo. Izuna immediately stands up from the bed. He quickly wears his clothes and dashes out of the cave. I have to go now. Tsunade and Lady Katsuyu. I will catch up to you on a later date. Swoosh. He immediately teleports out of the Shikotsu forest. Katsuyu shakes her head and remarks. He is always in such a hurry. Yes, he is such a fool. Tsunade chuckles. But I think he will able to change the world and lead it to peace. Tsunade closes her eyes as a smiling Dan and Nawaki appears in her thoughts. Yes. I believe in your words. Tsunade-sama. Katsuyu shakes her optical tentacles in affirmation. Flashback ends. Hurry up, we have an important mission to complete. An angry voice fells in Izuna's ears, breaking him out of his thoughts. Izuna jumps down from the tree right in front of Mai. Well. Hello Lady Mai, what's the mission this time? He smiles at her. Tick. Mai has a tick on her forehead as she clenches her fingers into a fist. Don't call me that. I hate it when you call me that. Okay. Lady Mai. Izuna teases her. Why you? Mai yells at Izuna and tries to punch him. Izuna dodges her punch and continues to tease her. Cough, cough. Haru-sama enters in the backyard together with Utakata. Zenjutsu is also leaning against the tree. He coughs slightly to gather their attention. Okay, calm down, now tell me more about the mission. Izuna tries to calm her down. Mai clears her throat as she narrates the details. This is a top-secret mission assigned to our team. Our and you members have found traces of six tails in the Mist Lake. So, our mission is to recapture the six tails and prevent any interruption in its sealing. Izuna and the group nod their head. We will accompany the sealing team of Elder Genji, who will look over the entire process of tailed beast sealing. So, we have to ensure his safety. Yes. Lady Mai. All of them nod to her. Tick. Mai has another tick on her forehead as she notices the teasing smile of Izuna. Damn. I just can't stand this guy. Mai clenches her fist as memories of the past month flashes through her mind. He is a strong shinobi with powerful capabilities, and he had saved the entire team whenever we were caught in a pinch. But that goofy personality of his, where he takes every mission lightly, is getting on my nerves. Also, his teasing bothers me for some reason. I don't like to get called Lady Mai by him. Mai blushes as a little as she stares at Izuna's teasing smile. No. I have to look after father. Mai shakes her head and discards unnecessary thoughts. I can't marry anyone until I fulfill my promise to father. I will erase the infamy of Kiri as the bloody mist. Mai calms herself and lays a map in front of them. There is a red circle marked on the area. She points to the map and explains. This is the area. We will meet up with the sealing team there. We have to overpower Six Tails before sealing it. So, prepare yourself well and meet inside the clan mansion during midnight. Yes. Lady Mai. All of them nod their head. Swoosh. Swoosh. They flicker out of the backyard and moves out of the clan mansion. Mai enters inside the mansion. Home. Izuna turns around and notices one of the maids of the mansion hiding inside the earth. Oh. Hiding like a mole jutsu. You might be able to fool others, but you can't fool me. Swoosh. Swoosh. He flickers near her location and taps on ground. Ice encases around her. Ice release, ice prison. Eek. The maid yells in surprise as she notices Izuna. She immediately pulls out a kunai from her stockings and tries to stab him. Whoosh! Izuna pinches the kunai between his fingers, and it starts to freeze. It was a nice attempt. But, you are not my opponent. Genjutsu, Sharingan. Izuna casts a genjutsu on her. He invades her mind and reads her memories. So, this maid is one of the spy of the noble clans. She was the one who leaked the information regarding Mai to them. Akifumi, so this is the name of her master. If I remember correctly, he was the same person who sent the assassin after me. I need to check up on him. Izuna erases the memories of her encounter with him and disappears from the place. I will allow her to inform her master. I want to see, how many cards does he have in his hands? Izuna stares at the back of the maid who is secretly leaving the boundaries of the Terumi mansion. Her body turns invisible as she hides her smell, her chakra signature and even sound. It's an interesting technique. She is using water release and earth release in a quite unique manner. Though, any person with a dojutsu would be able to see her. Izuna analyzes her technique with his Sharingan. Later at midnight, Izuna and the rest of the members gathers inside the Terumi clan backyard in Anbu outfits. Mai walks out of the backyard and signals them. It's time to move. All of them take out an Anbu mask from their pockets and wear it. They have been using these masks during their previous missions to hide their identity. Swoosh, swoosh. All of them flicker out of the mansion in the wake of night. They travel along one of the secret paths near the small hill to move out of the village. Izuna raises his head and notices someone following them. It must be the noble clan. Swoosh. Izuna disappears from his position and appears beside the hidden Anbu. What the? Swish. Izuna slices his neck with a sharp ice shard as a line of trails down the Anbu's neck. The rest of the group is startled when they see Izuna taking out the Anbu so easily. Zenjutsu shakes his head as he speaks. Appearances are always deceiving. You look so harmless and frail with that face, but there is dangerous killer hidden beneath that face. Mai and the rest of the people nods their head in agreement. We were also initially fooled by his appearance. Cough, cough. Izuna coughs slightly to gather their attention. He points at the Anbu and replies. This guy was waiting in ambush for us. He throws the body of the Anbu in front of them. Haru-same searches the body of Anbu and shakes his head. There is nothing on him as usual. We need to hurry up, looks like the noble faction is aware of our plan. Mai immediately dashes towards the mist lake. Izuna and the rest of the group follow her. Izuna notices the slightly tense expression on Mai's face. He catches up to Mai and speaks to her. You seem to be under lots of pressure. I can see it from your expression. Mai turns her head away and tries to calm herself. I can't reveal the condition of father to any outsider. I can't misplace my trust. It's nothing. I am just a little worried about the sealing team. They are an important part of our clan. Izuna nods his head and overtakes her. Mai stares at his back and thinks to herself. I don't know if I can trust you or not. Father trusted one of his best friend and was betrayed by him. Maybe I am too skeptical here. Swoosh, swoosh. The group continues to flicker through the forest. At the border of Land of Water, near a large lake. A group of shinobis dressed in priest robe are staring at the center of the lake. All of them wore blue priest robes with Kiri sealing core symbol imprinted on their shoulders. They wear porcelain masks with many seals and Kiri symbol on it. Elder Genji is standing at the forefront of the group as he stares at the red amalgamation of chakra in the center of the lake. It will be an hour before the beast revives in its original form. He turns towards Ao, who is standing beside him. Ao, take charge of the barrier team and erect a barrier around the lake. We can't allow any disturbance while sealing the beast. Yes. Genji-sama. Ao bows his head. He turns towards the barrier core and signals them. A group of 10 shinobis follows him and stands in a formation around the lake. The barrier core members have gigantic sealing scrolls tied on their back. After reaching their respective positions, the barrier core members puts down the scroll and opens it. There is a large sealing formula engraved on the scroll. The barrier core members make some hand signs and slams their palms on the seal while infusing their chakra in the seal. Release. All of them shouts in unison. Many broad beams of purple light rises from the scrolls and joins together to form a gigantic purple barrier around the lake. Ao looks at the giant barrier and nods his head. He looks at Elder Genji with reverence. Elder Genji personally created this barrier. It is strong enough to block at least 2 small-tailed beast bombs from the 6 tails. It was thanks to this barrier we were able to capture the 6 tails previously. Elder Genji inspects the barrier and nods his head in satisfaction. He turns towards the sealing team and orders them. Prepare the seals. We will capture the beast and seal it inside this vessel until we find a suitable Jinchuki. Elder Genji produces a giant vase with a red cloth covering its top. There is a giant black kanji letter for demon carved on it. The sealing group surrounds the giant amalgamation of chakra and makes some hand signs. They slam their palms on the top of the lake. Whoosh. Many black sealing formulas forms over the surface of water and creates multiple chains of fuinjutsu. The chains surround the chakra amalgamation and forms multiple chains around it. Elder Genji places the sealing vase on the surface of water and patiently waits for the 6 tails to revive. Izuna and the rest of the group approaches near the lake. They notice the giant purple barrier around the lake. The group frowns and raises their guard. It's the sealing barrier created by Elder Genji. He must be inside the barrier. Mai assures them. The group approaches the barrier. Ao notices them. He makes some hand signs and creates a small opening in the barrier. The group enters inside the barrier and Ao reseals it. Izuna curiously inspects the barrier. It is quite a powerful barrier. It is capable of dispersing the force of a blast all over the barrier. I would have to use 30% of my power at one point to break it in a single strike. I am honestly amazed by the Fuinjutsu capabilities of Kirigakyo. The group notices the elder Genji standing in the middle of the lake. Izuna notices the red amalgamation of chakra in the center of the lake. He secretly activates his Sharingan and inspects the chakra amalgamation. Interesting. His curiosity is piqued as he inspects the process of revival of a tailed beast. Normally, when a person dies, all of his chakra returns to nature and slowly loses its will over the course of time, before converting into nature energy. But this lump of chakra has its own will, and it is preserved by a very powerful technique. He activates his main Gekyo Sharingan to notice the details. Incredible! He almost screams in amazement. His eyes widen as he notices something amazing. Inside the Sin Grimoire. Yin Kurama raises its head and notices the lump of chakra in the center of the lac. So, Saiken died and is about to revive. His eyes turn red in anger as he stares at the group of Kiri Shinobi around the chakra amalgamation. These human bastards. They will capture and seal the moment he revives. I don't know why Father entrusted the safety of mankind in our hands when these bastards seals us out of their selfish desires. Bam! Bam! Kurama attacks the chains binding him. Rattle! Rattle! Whoosh! More chains appear out of nowhere, and ties him down. Let me out of here. I will rip them apart into pieces. Kurama growls in anger. Minato and Kushina notices the disturbance. They try to calm him down. Calm down, Kurama. I am sure Six Tails will also be able to find the piece it has been seeking for. Kurama calms down and stares at the chakra amalgamation. Mai walks over to Elder Genji and speaks to him. Elder Genji, how long before the Six Tails revives? It will revive in approximately next 30 minutes. Prepare your squad for the fight. Six Tails will go on a rampage once it revives. Your group has to hold it at bay as the sealing squad seals it. Yes. Elder Genji. Mai returns to her squad as she instructs them. Amazing, this is a yin-yang release technique. Izuna observes the process of Six Tails revival with full concentration. This is the creation of all things. By utilizing this technique, the user creates a spiritual form out of nothingness by administrating the imagination, and then through the use of yang chakra breathes vitality in the physical form. Izuna curiously records the process. This technique has given a spiritual consciousness to a mass of chakra, thus creating tailed beasts, so it holds the consciousness of the creature by utilizing the yin chakra and then reconstructs the breath and body through yang chakra. Izuna tries to analyze the process. Incredible, simply incredible. If I can decipher this process even by a little amount, then I would be able to perfectly sync the spirit and body of Kushina and Minato. He continues to stare at the red mass of chakra. Your first time seeing a tailed beast? A voice interrupts him. Izuna subconsciously nods his head. Who? Zenjutsu chuckles as he stares at Izuna. It is also the first time for me to see a tailed beast revival this up close. I have seen 3 tails, but only from a distance. Mai clears her throat as she interrupts them. The Six Tails is about to revive soon. We have to prevent it from rampaging and escaping from the barrier. Yes. Lady Mai. Harusame and Utakata nods their head. She turns to Izuna and asks him. Yuito Yuki, can you freeze the water and encase the six tails in ice to prevent it from escaping?
Yes.
I will try it. Izuna nods his head in approval. Very well, she then continues to instruct the rest of the team. Whoosh! The entire amalgamation of chakras swirls into a place as it starts to shape together. Get ready. Six Tails is about to revive. Elder Genji warns the Sealing Corp. Their expression turn tense and all of them get in position. Izuna jumps back and looks at the mass of chakra. Swirl. The red chakra swirls continuously as the concentration of chakra continues to rise and forms a dense sphere of chakra. Swoosh, swoosh. Elder Genji throws many talismans around the red sphere of chakra. Awa! A roar escapes from the red sphere of chakra. The shock waves from the roar push back the water and the sealing core. Hold your position. Six Tails has almost revived itself. Elder Genji yells at the sealing squad. Shoom! A giant red pillar of chakra rises from the sphere and collies with the top of the barrier. Rumble, rumble. The barrier trembles from the forces of the chakra, but is able to hold itself together. Shoom! The red sphere of chakra cracks open and releases a powerful shock wave of the red chakra. Ice release, crystal wall. Izuna makes some hand signs and erects an ice wall to block the shock wave. Crack, crack. Some cracks appear on the walls but it holds on. 8 trigrams demon suppression seal. Elder Genji creates a ram seal with his right hand and directs the other hand towards the floating talismans to control them. Swoosh, swoosh. Multiple black chains of Fuinjutsu seals crawl out of the talismans and wraps around the six tails. Rattle. Rattle. The chains rattle as Six Tails struggles to get free. Izuna dispels the ice wall to take a clear look at the Six Tails. Six Tails is an enormous white bipedal slug. It has a bluish tint across its white skin. The slug has 2 small stubby arms, feet, and 6 long tails flailing behind it. It has 2 prominent optical tentacles and hole-like openings in place of a mouth. The entire body of Six Tails is covered in a thick, slimy substance. The Six Tails opens its mouth holes and exhales a large amount of dense white corrosive gas from its mouth. It instantly covers a large area. Mai jumps in front of the gas and makes some hand signs. Boil release, skilled mist technique. Mai expels an acidic breath from her mouth which counters the alkaline breath of Six Tails. Izuna makes some hand signs and slams his palm on the surface of the lake. Ice release, frozen capturing field. The water freezes under the Six Tails, immobilizing it in one place. Six Tails opens its moth holes and expels a white viscous sticky liquid to gain mobility. The corrosive liquid melts the ice and Six Tails move over the liquid. It opens its mouth again and releases many large bubbles from its mouth. The bubbles travel rapidly near the sealing squad and burst on them, releasing the corrosive fluid on top of them. Ah! The sealing corps members shrieks in pain. No, you don't, you beast! Haru-same yells at Six Tails and takes out a blowpipe from his holster. He inhales deeply and exhales in the blowpipe. The blowpipe releases many large bubbles from its other end. The bubbles rapidly surround the Six Tails and burst near it. The bubbles release an acidic fluid on the Six Tails body. White fumes rise from the Six Tails body as it whines in pain. Have a taste of your own medicine, you beast. I developed this technique after watching you. I call it soap bubble ninjutsu. Haru-same blows the pipe again and releases more water bubbles. Water release, ink bubble explosion. The bubbles turn black and explode on top of Six Tails, drowning it in black ink. The acidic ink starts to melt its skin. Awa! Six Tails yells in agony and releases another burst of chakra from its body. Blue and red chakra seep out of its body, removing the black ink from its skin. The blue and red chakra bubbles gather in front of its mouth and condense into a small sphere. Take cover. It is going to fire a tailed beast bomb soon. Elder Genji warns the ceiling core. He turns towards my squad. It's time for you to take action. Guess, it's my cue. Zenjutsu walks in front of the group. He makes many hand signs and claps his hand together. Water release, giant water prison dome. Zenjutsu creates a large water dome around the group. Harusame and Utakata nod to each other and both of them blow into the blowpipe. Water release, soap bubble technique, bubble dome. They create a double layer of soap bubble at the edges of the water dome. Now. I can't stay behind, can I? Izuna gets serious and makes some hand signs and claps his hands together. Ice release, ice rock dome of magnificent nothingness. He erects an icy, transparent igloo-like dome around the water prison. Elder Genji throws a talisman towards the water dome and creates a defensive seal on top of it. It should be enough to hold it, right? Zenjutsu looks at Elder Genji. Awa! Six Tails roars again and fires the tailed beast bomb at the group. Whoosh! The tailed beast bomb quickly travels towards the group. Bam! It collides with the water dome and cracks it instantly. Zenjutsu's expression turns ugly as he looks at his shattered dome. Pop! Pop! The soap bubble dome also cracks instantly. Boom! The tailed beast bomb collides with the ice dome. Crack, crack! Cracks appear on the ice dome as it struggles to hold against the tailed beast bomb. Boom! It holds on for a few seconds before shattering into various shards. The tailed beast bomb shatters the defensive seal of Elder Genji. Boom! It explodes into a violent explosion and covers the entire area. The purple barrier trembles from the explosion and hold against the tailed beast bomb. Dust and debris settle slowly. A major part of the lake has turned into mist as it gets evaporated by the tailed beast bomb. A few members of the ceiling core lost their life in the explosion. Elder Genji emotionlessly looks at the members of ceiling core as he orders. Prepare to seal the beast. It won't be able to use the tailed beast bomb for a short while now. Yes, Genji-sama. The members of the ceiling core make some hand signs and slam their palms on multiple ceiling nodes laid around the Six Tails. Swoosh! Swoosh! Multiple black Fuinjutsu ceiling chains rises from the nodes and wraps around the Six Tails. Elder Genji places his right hand on the ceiling vase and speaks some incoherent words as he makes some strange hand signs with another hand. Whoosh! The top of the container glows with purple light as multiple chains of chakra crawls out of it. Whoosh! Whoosh! The chains wrap around the Six Tails and drag it towards the vase. Awa! Six Tails yells in agony as it resists to get free from the chains. Whoosh! The chains pull it inside the vase and the purple light fades. Elder Genji places a sealing talisman on top of the case and seals it. We have successfully captured the Six Tails. It's time to return to the village. He walks towards the barrier core. The rest of the ceiling core members tends to their injured members. One of them takes a storage scroll and places it on the ground. He puts down the corpses of the dead members and makes some hand signs. Enclose. Elder Genji signals the barrier core members. The barrier team lifts its hand from the giant scroll. Swish, whoosh. The barrier slowly fades away and dispels. They pick up the giant scroll and ties it on their back. Elder Genji turns towards Mai. Now comes the real danger. You have to successfully escort the six tails to the village. We have to look out for any traps and ambush laid out by the noble clan. Yes. Elder Genji. Mai nods her head. The squad lines up in a formation around the group as they depart for Kiri. Izuna follows the back of the group. He stares at the sealing artifact in the hands of the Elder Genji and mutters to himself. That's an interesting artifact. It seems pretty old. Maybe it is one of those artifacts from the era before Rakuda-Sunin excavated from some old ruins. Izuna scrutinizes the artifact and recognizes the seal on the talisman. Those seals on the talisman are similar to the one I found in the book in possession of the toads of Mount Myobaku. Perhaps there might be some connection between them. I must pay a secret visit to Elder Genji. There is much to them, than it meets the eyes. The group continues through the forest as they approach Kiri. This is the perfect place for an ambush. Izuna ponders as he looks around with his Sharingan. There they are. I was waiting for them. He notices a group of 50 people dressed in Anbu clothes about a mile away from them. Oh! They have laid quite the number of traps here. Izuna and the group continue to move towards the trap. The eyes on Elder Genji's walking stick shines with a red hue. Elder Genji frowns and warns others. There is an enemy ambush ahead. Prepare to engage them in a fight. Mai and the rest of the group nod their head. Ao walks near Elder Genji and acts as a shield to deter the enemies. Interesting, that stick of his is quite unusual. Izuna's interest is piqued by the walking stick of Elder Genji. The rest of the group takes out their kunais and weapons as they get ready for the fight. Swish, swish. Multiple kunais are launched at them. Clank, clank. The group quickly deflects all of them and engages in combat with the Anbu members. The leader of the Anbu signals to his teammates. Around 30 members of the enemy group make some hand signs and slam their palms on the ground. Cooperation ninjutsu, demonic illusion, steaming multilayered sealing technique. They use a wide area genjutsu to sever the senses of the group. A thick layer of mist surrounds the entire area and encloses a large area around it. Whoosh. The mist slowly vanishes and casts a genjutsu on the group. Izuna looks at the group of enemy Anbus with a deadpan expression. Seriously, a genjutsu? You all disappoint me. Stab, stab. The remaining members of the group stab the members of the barrier core and the sealing core. The leader of the Anbu group makes some hand signs and vanishes from the vision. Water release, hiding in the mist technique. The eyes of the staff of Elder Genji glows and dispels the genjutsu on him. Bakugan. Ao activates his Bakugan and dispels the genjutsu. He quickly looks around for an enemy attack as he protects Elder Genji. Release. Izuna infuses some chakra and disrupts the flow of chakra of Mai to dispel the genjutsu. Thank you. Mai thanks him. She turns towards the group of enemy Anbu members and makes some hand signs. Lava release, exploding rings. She fires multiple rings of lava from her mouth towards the enemy. The lava rings explode and create a pool of lava beneath them. Clang, clang. Zenjutsu, Haru Same, and Utakata also dispel the genjutsu and fight against the enemy. Water release, Raging Water Dragon Jutsu. Zenjutsu makes some hand signs and spews out a water dragon from his mouth. Roar! The water dragon roars and sweeps out several enemies. Stab! One of the hidden enemies appears behind him and stabs through his back. Splish! Zenjutsu's body turns into a puddle of water and splashes on the ground. Large hands made of water appear from the ground and strangles the enemy. Water release, hiding in the water technique. Izuna gives thumbs up to Zenjutsu, who flashes a smile and fights with another enemy. Izuna turns towards the group of enemies and smiles. Let's dance. He makes some hand signs and slams his palms on the ground. Ice release, certain kill spear. Many pointed ice spears emerge from the ground and pierce the body of many enemies. Their blood dyes the ice spears in red. The group continues to whittle down the number of enemies. The leader of the enemy, who is hiding in the mist, warily stares at them as his subordinates die one after another. I have to just retrieve the 6 tails, and according to the intel, it is inside that ceiling vase. He sneakily walks up to Elder Genji and takes out a kunai from his holster and aims for Elder Genji's throat. Elder Genji frowns as he senses an icy stare at his back. The eyes of the staff turn red. He immediately rotates the staff and stabs it backward. Puchi! The staff pierces through the throat of the hidden leader of the group. The eyes of the leader widen as his body slowly turns into a puddle of blood. Elder Genji wipes his staff and focuses on the remaining enemies in front of him. Ao, quickly take care of the rest of them. We have to seal the 6 tails inside a Jinchuki. This vessel can only hold it temporarily. Yes. Genji-sama. Ao quickly locates the hidden enemies with his Bakugan and attacks them one after another. Mai and the group also finish off enemies on their end. Elder Genji stares at the group as he scrutinizes them. There are not that many trustworthy people present in the Terumi clan. I can't blindly entrust the power of a Jinchuki to anyone. He looks towards Zenjutsu and shakes his head. The body of the Hozuki clan members isn't suitable for hosting tailed beast inside them. He then turns towards Izuna. This Yuki clan member joined our faction just a month ago, and he has proved to be a valuable asset for us. I am not fostering some skill-less shinobis on my side, they are countless of them present in the village. What I am looking for is an individual with an indomitable will, a person who can control his inner demons. He scrutinizes Izuna for a while. He fits the criteria, but he isn't trustworthy enough. We can't control him as freely as we thought. We have to turn towards someone else. He turns towards Utakata and ponders for a while. This kid, he isn't that smart, powerful, or skilled. But his loyalty to the village is undeniable. I will consult with Fuji and allow him to decide. Elder Genji completely ignores the dead bodies of his allies and foes around him. He continues to move towards the village. Weakness is a sin. Those who are born weak can only act as fodder for the stronger people. I have learned this harsh reality through 3 Shinobi wars. To make Kiri rise to greatness, some sacrifices are necessary. He moves on as the group follows him. Some members of the group stay behind to collect the bodies of their friends and allies. Inside Terumi Mansion, Fuji nervously walks back and forth as he stares toward Mist Lake. I hope Mai is doing well. I can't allow anything to happen to her. Also, I want to successfully capture 6 tails and create a new Jinchuki. Sigh. Fuji rubs his forehead and tries to ease some tension. With a Jinchuki on our side, the power balance between the noble clans and the middle faction will be balanced. They won't be able to suppress us as easily as they did before. Swoosh, swoosh. One Anbu members flicker in front of him and reports. Fuji-sama. Elder Genji has arrived with his group. They are near the south gate of the village. Good, we have to prepare some precautionary measures. Fuji immediately commands his personal Anbu squad. Uncle Waken and the rest of the Anbu squad follow him as they flicker towards the south gate. Inside a large mansion. Bam! One of the members of the noble clan slams his hands on the table as he lashes out. Damn! They were successful in their attempt. They now have Six-Tail on their side. With this, the scales are balanced, we can't pressure them anymore. The elder barks in anger. The expression of the rest of the noble clan elders turns ugly as they hear this news. What should we do next? At this rate, their power will grow day by day, and one day, they will grow equal to us. Another member of the council clutches his fist in anger. They frantically discuss possible countermeasures among themselves. Akifumi silently stares at the group as he thinks to himself. What should I do? How should I handle this situation? Lord Madara, help me. Akifumi infuses some chakra in a ring on his index finger. Some incoherent whispers resound in his ears. A smile appears on Akifumi's face as his eyes lit up. He turns towards the elder council. Ahem. Akifumi clears his throat to garner their attention. I have a plan. If we follow it, then Kiri will forever be under our control. Inside the meeting room. Fuji stares at the group of people as Ao recounts the entire incident to him. Sigh. Fuji sighs and rubs his forehead. The losses were great, but it was worth it. He signals to one of his subordinates as he orders him. Make necessary arrangements and compensation for their family. Fuji turns towards Elder Genji as he continues. Now, Six-Tails is under our control. Fuji stares at the ceiling artifact for a while before nodding to Elder Genji. Ahem. I need to have some private discussion with clan leader Fuji. The remaining people leaves the room as only Elder Genji and Fuji stays in the room. Izuna bade farewell to the rest of his team and walks out of the Terumi clan. Oi Yuito! Yuito! Zenjutsu yells his name and shakes his hand. Izuna turns around and looks at Zenjutsu with a questioning gaze. Hey! Yuito, if you are free tonight, then what about a drink? It is on me. He hurriedly convinces Izuna to join him. Very well. We will meet tonight at the Thirsty Man Bar. Izuna nods his head and flickers towards his residence. Sigh. Zenjutsu sighs and removes his hat. He restyles his hairs to allow them to hang freely. His expression turns serious as he looks towards the center of the village. Mainjutsu, we will have our rematch soon, and this time I won't be the loser. Zenjutsu removes the blade strapped on his back and caresses it gently. Inside the Terumi mansion. In a private room. Elder Genji looks towards Fuji for a while before he tells about his decision. Clan leader Fuji. I initially decided to make you take Ata, the Jinchuki of the Six-Tails, and after observing him for a month, I hold on to it. Fuji frowns and questions him. But wouldn't Yuito Yuki be a better option? He is a capable shinobi with ice release. He has shown his worth during this past month. He would be a perfect Jinchuki for the Six-Tails. Elder Genji shakes his head and continues. Somehow, I don't have confidence in him. Even Ao thinks the same. I have survived this far because of my instincts and experience. Elder Genji taps his staff on the ground. Very well. I trust you, Elder Genji. Then we will go with you, Takata. Fuji decides. Inside Noble Clan Mansion. The rest of the elder raises their head as they curiously look towards Akifumi. What plan? Care to enlighten us? Akifumi. One of the old elders questions him. Ahem. Akifumi clears his throat as he explains. Kirigakyo came into existence when first Mitsukage Byakuren Sama, my grandfather, founded the village. He fought a bloody battle against various other clans during the warring state to lead us to where we are. The rest of the elders nods their head in agreement. He achieved this with the help of other clans who allied with us and fought that bloody war. Akifumi continues. We are well aware of this matter. These same ally clans are now opposing our rule and threatening to take our position. The old elder clenches his fists in anger. Akifumi smirks as he looks at them and continues. It was indeed hard for grandfather to convince so many clans. But during the warring state, a band of 7 swordsmen acted as his bodyguards. These 7 swordsmen wielded 7 powerful swords and single-handedly overpowered most of the clans and forced them to agree to our terms. Ha ha! Akifumi laughs as he mentions this. There is a reverent expression on his face as he speaks of this matter. Every person in Kiri, and even other villages, are aware of this fact. Those 7 people are the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist who slaughtered their way through every war and made other villages wary of us. But, after the Third Shinobi War, most of them died at the hands of a powerful Konoha ninja who single-handedly killed 4 out of the 7 swordsmen. Chuzo and Reiga deserted the village and Fuguki later died on a mission. Another elder states the facts and sighs. If only the 7 mist swordsmen were alive, then we would have a better chance against the middle faction, since they captured the 6 tails. Ha ha, ah ha ha. Akifumi laughs as he stares at them. Who said, there are no mist swordsmen alive anymore? He signals to one of the shinobi. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 people appear behind him. Akifumi introduces them to the elders. These are the current members of the 7 mist swordsmen fostered by me. Don't look down on their number. Akifumi points towards one of them and introduces. He is Maingetsu Hozuki, the current leader of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. At the mere age of 18, he had already mastered all the 7 swords and can wield them in battle. Don't look down on him because of his young age. Akifumi points towards the second member and introduces him. He is Kaizame Hoshigeki, one of the members of the Fuguki's squad. He was the one who unmasked the traitorous deeds of Fuguki and later killed that traitorous swine. He is the current wielder of Same Hada. Akifumi points towards the third and the last member. He is Renjuro, the current wielder of Hiramkarii. He is a capable swordsman with multiple S-rank missions under his belt. Akifumi waves his hands and the 3 swordsmen disappear from their vision. Sadly, the 4th member, Zabuza Momokai, betrayed us and left the village. I will kill that traitor with my own hands, if he appeared before me. Akifumi clenches his fists in anger. Anyway, with 7 mist swordsmen on our side, we can make a preemptive strike and attack the middle-class faction. If we assassinate their leader, then the rest of the faction will fall apart. Akifumi smirks as he looks at the rest of the elders. The elders ponder for a while before they nod their heads. That's a good plan. But, are you sure your mist swordsman will be able to pull it? one of the elders raises his suspicion. HMPH. Akifumi scowls as he chides the elder. You can test their strength with your most elite Anbu unit, if you doubt their abilities. No, no. The elder shakes his hands in denial. It's decided then, let the war begin. Ha ha. Akifumi laughs maniacally. Later inside Thirsty Man Bar. Gulp, gulp. Zenjutsu chugs down one jar of alcohol after another. Ha, bam. He slams the empty jar on the table and yells. Refill, give me a refill. The server hurriedly refills his jar. Gulp, gulp. Zenjutsu chugs down the jar and looks towards Izuna, who is sipping lemonade right beside him. Hick. I thought you would drink with me. Zenjutsu complains. I like soda more. Izuna calmly replies to him and continues to drink his lemonade. Oh. Man, that hurt my feelings. I thought you will be a fellow brother in arms, who will drink together and drown all their sorrows. Hick. Izuna silently stares at Zenjutsu. Are we that close? Zenjutsu thinks for a while before he shakes his head. I guess not. Hick, but come on, just listen to me. I want to get this off my chest. Well, if you want to tell me your story, then I am interested. Izuna puts down his glass and turns towards Zenjutsu. Bam. Zenjutsu smacks the empty jar on the table. He takes out the blade from his back and caresses it. You must be aware of the 7 mist swordsmen. Izuna nods his head and replies. Yes, who doesn't know about them? But sadly, almost all of them died a few years ago. I heard it was a Konoha shinobi who killed them. Zenjutsu shakes his head and continues. I am not talking about them, but the previous generation, the first generation of 7 mist swordsmen. Izuna shakes his head. I don't know about them. For me, they are part of a legend. Sadly, I wasn't able to stop Might Dewey's untimely death. I was on my journey to Land of Whirlpool and lost my sense of time. Hick. Zenjutsu hiccups and continues. Around 50 years ago, during the Warring States, the first Mitsukage excavated an ancient ruin together with Elder Genji. Oh. Now I am interested. Izuna raises his eyebrows as he is curious to know the origin of those 7 blades. There is no way the current blacksmiths can forge such blades. Like, come on. Same harder is a living creature. It was inside those ruins, the first Mitsukage Sama found those 7 blades and many other wonderful artifacts. Even Elder Genji's staff is from that ruin. Zenjutsu raises his head and looks towards Izuna. Izuna nods his head. It was during this time, the first Mitsukage founded the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. He trained young shinobis while wielding those swords. My father was one of those young shinobi. Yes, he was a member of first generation. Zenjutsu proudly puffs his chest as he continues. My father has 2 younger brothers. The middle brother was skilled in genjutsu and ninjutsu, he later became the second Mitsukage, and the youngest brother. Zenjutsu's expression turns ugly. He was also skilled in swords. He also became a member of the Mist Swordsmen. Sigh. Zenjutsu sighs and chugs down the refilled jar in a single gulp. Father and younger uncle had a dispute over the position of the leader of the 7 swordsmen. Both of them fought a heated battle and in the end, father won the battle. Ha! Bam! Zenjutsu slams the empty jar on the table. He spared the life of his younger brother, but uncle felt it as a humiliation to his skills, So he backstabbed father, in his last moments, stabbed through the heart of uncle, and both of them died in the battle. Ha! It sounds ironic, isn't it? Zenjutsu chuckles and looks at Izuna. Izuna silently listens to him. Now, uncle's elder son. Mainjutsu, he has joined the noble faction, to train in swordsmanship. His target is me, he wants to kill me, and honor his father. Skink. Zenjutsu unsheathes the blade on his back and brandishes it. And I am ready for his challenge. Inside the Hokage office, Hiruzen reads a report as a frown appears on his face. He raises his head and stares at Itachi. Itachi Uchiha, you are the only skilled member of Anbu currently available in the village. Kakashi and Shisui are out on another mission. So, you have to carry out this mission with other Anbu team. Itachi nods his head. Yes. Hokage-sama. Home. Hiruzen unfolds a scroll and explains the mission. Jiraiya has been monitoring the tracks of Orochimaru after the latter left the village. According to his latest intel, Orochimaru seems to have joined hands with Akatsuki. Akatsuki is a criminal organization with multiple S-rank rogue ninjas of different villages. Itachi nods his head in agreement. Izuna-ni-san has already informed me about the key members and their abilities. Hiruzen continues the explanation. Jiraiya found the location of one of the recent hideouts of Orochimaru. I want you to investigate the lab and search for some clues on Orochimaru's research. Hiruzen hands over the scroll to Itachi. Itachi opens the scroll and notices the location of Orochimaru's lab. Home, it is in Land of Sound. He pockets the scroll and flickers out of the Hokage's office. Hiruzen takes out his pipe from the drawer. He takes a deep puff of smoke and stares at the departing back of Itachi. Sigh, it has been a year since Asuma left the village. Nothing has been going in Konoha's favor recently. The daimyo has reduced the funding and missions to the village, and he has trust issues with the higher-ups of the village. Sigh. Hiruzen takes another puff from his pipe and takes out the crystal ball from his drawer. At Land of Sound borders, Itachi and the rest of his Anbu team gather around a waterfall. Itachi opens the map and reads it. This is the marked place on the map, the hideout is behind that waterfall. He signals to an Anbu member. The Anbu member takes out a Fuinjutsu scroll from his pocket and makes some hand signs and slams his palm on the scroll. A Fuinjutsu seal crawls out from the scroll and covers the entire waterfall. Whoosh! The seal removes the water curtain to reveal a cave opening. Itachi activates his Sharingan and inspects the opening. There is a trap here. He signals to another Anbu member. The Anbu member takes half an hour to disarm the trap. The group enters inside the cave. They are greeted by 3 different passages leading to 3 different places. One of the Anbu members walks in front of the group. He places his hands on the ground and infuses some chakra in it. Some ants crawl towards the Anbu member. He picks up an ant on his finger and brings it near his ear. That way, the hideout is inside that passage. He points towards the leftmost passage. The team follows his lead and enters inside the passage. The Anbu members warily inspect every nook and cranny of the tunnel. Orochimaru is a sly snake, we have to be careful at every corner. The group finally enters inside the abandoned laboratory. There are various glass containers with nutritional fluid filled inside them. A few glass containers have human test subjects inside them. Itachi inspects them. They seem to be civilians of Land of Sound. He signaled to the rest of the team. Itachi walks deeper into the lab. More and more glass containers inside his vision. Some of them are cracked, and the remaining contains various chimera inside them. There is a giant glass container in the center of the lab. Itachi walks towards it and inspects the creature inside it. White snake. Itachi frowns. He approaches the glass and notices a logbook near the table. He opens the logbook and reads the log. Day 765-. Experiment No. 324. Test subject, 126. The test subject is a civilian with no special trait or keki genkai. Test 1. First dose of the drug had no major effect on the target. Test 2. Increasing the concentration of the drug. The test subject's body has a mild tolerance to the concentration. Some snake scales start to grow on various parts of the body, most notably eyes. Test 3. Injecting full concentration drug. Major changes start to appear on the subject. Itachi closes the book and pockets it. He lifts his head to stare at the gigantic snake. So, that's how it is. Swoosh, swoosh. Multiple white snakes crawl out from various corners and tightly binds Itachi. Finally, your body is mine. The gigantic snake breaks the glass container and lunges at Itachi. Itachi emotionlessly stares at the snake and calmly mutters. So, you finally decided to show yourself. Orochimaru. Hiss. The giant snake hisses at Itachi and opens its mouth wide open. Swoosh, swoosh. He swiftly approaches Itachi and tries to bite him. Ah! The snake freezes in the air. Various iron stakes stab in its body. The snake's bind on Itachi loosens, and he calmly stares at the giant snake. Sing. Itachi's eyes change into Mangekyo Sharingan. Orochimaru's eyes widen as he questions. Since when? The moment our eyes meet. Itachi calmly replies to him. The surrounding atmosphere changes, and the sky turns red. Everything turns into a dichromat of red and black. Stab, stab. Itachi stabs multiple stakes through the snake's body. Orochimaru whines in pain. Itachi continues to stab him. Orochimaru, you will slowly pay for every dirty deed you did. You collaborated with Danza and experimented on my clan members. You will pay for everything by 100-fold. Stab, stab. Itachi continues to stab Orochimaru's snake body. What kind of technique is this? What a powerful genjutsu. If I possess his body, then this ability will be mine. Orochimaru licks his tongue as he completely ignores the pain. The torture continues for 72 hours as only a sec passes in the actual world. Ah! The stakes around Orochimaru vanish as he weakly drops to the ground. Huff, huff. The giant snake pants as it viciously stares at Itachi. Chirp, Chi. Chidori, lightning cutter. Itachi creates Chidori in his right hand as he closes on Orochimaru to finish him off. Slash. He slices Orochimaru's lower snake body in half. Chi. The lightning blade dissipates and Itachi slowly walks towards Orochimaru. Pay for your filthy crimes in the afterlife. Orochimaru. Itachi infuses lightning in his blade and stabs towards Orochimaru's snake brain. Ha! Orochimaru opens his mouth wide, and another snake crawls out of it. The snake agilely moves around and approaches Itachi. Amaterasu. Some blood leaks from Itachi's right eye. Black fire appears in his focal point and shrouds the snake. Ah! Orochimaru wreathes in pain as black flames continue to burn his body. Farewell. Orochimaru. The giant snake turns into ashes. Itachi picks up some more scrolls from the research room and walks out of the hideout. He regroups with the rest of the Anbu group. All of you move without me. I have some things to take care of. He orders the group. Yes, Captain. The group moves towards Konoha. This information shouldn't fall in hands of our enemy. Orange chakra flames appear around Itachi's body and form a chakra rib cage and a gigantic chakra arm. Yaseka Magatama. Itachi forms a giant orange Magatama and throws it towards the hideout. Boom! The Yaseka Magatama explodes and covers the entire hideout. Time to return to Konoha. Itachi turns around and walks towards Konoha. Boom! Boom! One after another explosion happens behind him as the explosion covers the entire hideout. The explosion demolishes the hideout and buries it underground. Inside another hideout. Bang! A small snake figure explodes into dust. A round spectacled boy raises his head and looks at the remains of the figure. Seems like Orochimaru-sama's plan failed. He walks up to a glass container with a test subject inside it. There is a curse seal on the test subject's body. Slash. Slash. He rips out some flesh from a snake in another glass container and places it on top of the seal. He summons a giant scroll. The scroll has a snake figure drawn on it and a kanji symbol for sages carved on it. He makes some hand signs and slams his palm on the scroll. Cyan color nature energy leaks from the scroll and infuses with the flesh and the seal. The body of the test subjects dries up as the flesh absorbs all of his vitality. The flesh turns into a giant snake figure and continues to expand. A boy with orange hairs and various strange marks on his body silently stares at this scene from one of the prison cells. Kyuku. An evil laugh resounds through the hideout. That's it guys, hope you like this video. This was the season 2 of this series. Like, share and subscribe the channel if you want more videos like this. Also tell me in the comment section down below if you have any recommendation about what I should make next. Thanks for watching.